It's great to see the Irish Film Festival is about to begin from October 9th to November 9th in 5 cities. Plus, there's an online component. And as always, it's my pleasure to speak to the creative director of the Irish Film Festival, Enda Murray. Enda, welcome again to Movie Metropolis.
Thanks very much, Peter. Great to be here.
Now, is it the 11th festival? Is that what we're
It
up to
is.
now? Yeah, well,
Yep.
congratulations on that. It's and
Yes.
tell me what are the challenges you have in finding appropriate Irish-based films for the festival?
Well, Ireland is reasonably busy at the moment. They're producing about 40 um, features, which in a country which is the size of New South Wales is not a bad output. And that ranges across range of budgets and production values. But I suppose we're particularly interested in the what would be independent films and uh, films that would be maybe on the kind of from the zero to the maybe 2 million mark or 2.5 3 million. That's the probably the limit. And I've been going to Galway Film Festival where each year where I'll see a lot of the new releases in in that kind of sector. And it's a great festival. Lots of filmmakers go there, and it's a lovely place to be. Galway at in the height of the European summer, and I'll pick up a few films there, and then I'll also I keep an eye on the Dublin Film Festival and Cork Film Festival, and then also we work pretty closely with the Irish Film Institute, who are great organisation, are very interested in pushing Irish arts and culture, around the world, kind of soft power, but it is good. We do have a huge diaspora, and uh, that diaspora is catered for in terms of Irish government support for screening of Irish films in places like Australia.
Excellent to hear all that, and it's so great that you're able to program these films so that we can see them. So let's talk about the opening night film, a film called Fran the Man.
Yes, so we've had lots of different films over the years, and Ireland is great for yeah, producing, I would say, angsty films, a lot of psychological drama, maybe, and possibly it comes from the fact that in terms of budgets, that these films are suitable for low budgets. But there's been always a great demand for comedy, and happily this year there are a few comedies that we could go to, and Fran the Man is one of those. It's a story about an assistant manager in a small Dublin soccer club that gets mixed up in international match fixing. Uh, it's a film that grew out of a series a couple of years back in Ireland, um, and the writers, very experienced. We and but the main thing here is the cast. We've got such a range of Irish comedic talent, starting with Ardal O'Hanlon from the legendary Father Ted. Ardal, who went on to do was a Murder in Paradise, God forbid. But anyway, Ardal O'Hanlon is in there. Deirdre O'Kane, Amy Huberman, and uh, there's also a cameo from a Hollywood star. But it's just a really heartwarming film, and great performances, and just lots of big laughs. So it was a no brainer for me to program this. So yeah, that'll be the opening night, and we'll have our legendary opening night party too, with live Irish music and drinks and nibbles. So that's really looking forward to that one.
Good to hear. That sounds like a good film as well. Now, a film called Christie sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it is an interesting film. It's filmed by a director called Brendan Canty. It's his first feature. However, he's the guy who made the video clip for Hosier, the "Take Me to the Church," which is currently standing at 1.4 billion views, and was very instrumental in making Hosier the breaking him into the big time. But Christie is set in a rough council estate in North Cork, in down in the south, way down the south tip of Ireland, and it's a story about two brothers. One's coming out of foster care, and it's about them trying to navigate the slings and arrows that life puts in front of them. And it could be a bit bleak, but it's also set against a kind of ensemble cast from a workshop arts workshop that's based in the in the area of North Cork, and Knocknaheeny. That's I knew it was on the tip of my tongue. Knocknaheeny is the is the area, so you've got these really kind of energy filled young guys rapping and singing and swearing, and they I thought the tone of the writing was really good, because it spread a fine line between the individual stories of the two brothers, but also the community, and it really showed. You see it on the screen, that support that the community are giving to the two brothers. So you get this result, which is just a really bursting full of energy film, and very little like it. That's kind of working with non-actors. Is a talent in itself. So and Brendan Canty pulls this off. We have got Q&As with Brendan, which we pre-recorded, and all of the talent in the festival. So we screened those after the features in the cinema.
Ah, excellent stuff. Good to hear. Now, a film called Froggy.
Yes. So um, I saw this film in Galway, and I really enjoyed it. It's about these two again, another film about two brothers, but very different. So these two brothers who kind of reached a peak at the age of 7, when they appeared on a national TV show with their puppet, a green frog puppet. It looks suspiciously like Kermit, but however, um, and it's kind of absurdist comedy. The puppet gets kidnapped, and the unless the puppet gets 1 million likes on social media, the puppet is finished. And so the guys have got to sort out this quandary. But it's made in Galway, and a lot of Galway actors, and a lot of Galway settings, and there's a great support for the film, and it's again it's a film that it's just got a great warmth to it, and it's bilingual, obviously with subtitles, but the guys they speak Irish and English, and yeah, it just works out as a really good festival film.
Okay, very good. Intrigued already with all of them. Jerry Adams. Now, is that a biopic of Jerry Adams?
It is, yeah. So Jerry Adams is a very polarizing figure, I should say, in Ireland and around the world. He has a colourful history, um, and this is a film that was made by a woman called Trisha Ziff, who first went to Derry in 1981 and worked. Did a camera did photographic workshops. She now lives in Mexico, but she met Jerry Adams along the way and has laboured on this film, and has finally um, uh, brought it to the screen. Um, and it's a personal story about Jerry's life, growing up, and his involvement in housing activism, and there from there into Republican activities and the various paragraphs in his life, where the direction of the struggle in Northern Ireland moved from point to point, and then finally to the Good Friday Agreement, and the peace agreement, which is where I think Jerry Adams needs acknowledgement in terms of his um, efforts to bring the violence to an end. And I think it's a film that has maybe got lessons for other places around the world where there are in transitable conflicts where people can't see an end. That was how it was in Ireland, and yet we're now in a position where we've had 25 years of peace. So uh, that's Jerry Adams, a Ballymurphy man. I thought it was interesting that we've got another ex-president in there as well, which is Mary Robinson, with a ex-president from other part of Irish social life. So Mary Robinson was the first female president of Ireland in 1991, and she is very well known for her campaigning on social issues for women, and is responsible for a lot of the changes that happened in the 80s, decriminalization of homosexuality, the introduction of divorce and availability of contraception. And so she's very, very respected. She then went on to be a UN Commissioner of Human Rights, and has since joined a group called the Elders, which was set up by Nelson Mandela, which is a group of elder statesmen who are working to solve problems around the world. Mary Robinson was in Egypt 4 weeks ago with Helen Clark, yeah, from New Zealand, trying to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. So at the age of 81, she's still going strong. So that's a film called Mrs. Robinson, which I'm also really excited about. I suppose two towering figures in Irish politics over the years, and great to see their legacy acknowledged.
Absolutely. Oh, great to see both of those films. Now, there's a film called Housewife of the Year, which sounds interesting.
Yeah, so Housewife of the Year. Housewife of the Year. It's difficult to explain this to especially younger people, but Housewife of the Year was a competition that took place in Ireland between 1975 and 1992, and it was a bit of um, a strange animal because the competition was to find Ireland's Housewife of the Year, and so and it was done in front of a live audience. People had been nominated, housewives had been nominated, and then they appeared. The final 10 appeared on TV, live TV. It was hugely popular show where they baked cakes and made dinners and displayed their homemaking skills. And this was yeah, I suppose just the whole gist of the show. It's just really difficult to explain to young, especially the younger people nowadays, that this was a thing. And so in what it does is, in a way, it encapsulates the place of women in 70s Ireland, and that their place was seen as homemakers, and this was entrenched within Irish society. The place of the woman was to support the husband, to stay at home, to make dinners, and to produce children. And this, it was, yeah, something could say a bit surreal, this show. But I think what the filmmakers have done, to their credit, is that they have taken what could have been a very easy show to lampoon, and they have found the competitors from 40 years ago, and they have interviewed them and asked them about the kind of things that they weren't able to talk about on the show, and that was things like having no access to contraception. So one of these women who was on this show, at the age of 31, had already had 10 children.
Oh,
And to to talk to them, these ladies now, you see the resilience and uh, the strength that they had, and and it was interesting to hear, for some ladies from very very small little country towns over in the west of Ireland, this idea of being brought to Dublin and put on live TV on the most popular show. It acknowledged the work that they were doing. Now we of course, we have a laugh at it now, but I think that the filmmakers did find that sweet spot, and so the film is made with a lot of respect towards the women who took part, and some of the stories that came out are very harrowing. Some of those women had the children out of wedlock and were put into migrant homes. So there's some really tough stories. But all in all, I suppose it's a kind of time capsule of the life that women had in Ireland in the 70s.
yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Very interesting. Now, a film called Bring Them Down.
So Bring Them Down is the the uh, the film is about neighborly, sorry, inter neighbor conflict in in the west coast of Ireland, in rural area, and it's notable because we've got the Oscar nominee Barry Keoghan. Also um, got Colin Meaney, who very well known um, Irish actor, and yeah, it's quite a visceral film. Um, the other main actor is American Christopher Abbott, um, and he pulls off quite a good Irish accent, and also manages a bit of Gaelic speaking. So I was very impressed with that. Chris, the performance by Christopher Abbott. So yeah, it's about a struggle between two families, and they are both sheep farmers, and it's I suppose a bit of a essay on masculinity and the what it takes to be a man, and you get those very raw the landscapes and on in the west, the mountainous country in the west of Ireland. So it's not an easy film to watch. It's got some yeah, pretty tough um, stories around. There are a lot of dead sheep. I'll put it that way. But great performances by Barry Keoghan, and I was actually surprised that it didn't get a theatrical release here. But all the better for us because we've got it in the festival now.
But well done on that. It sounds like a most interesting film and interesting contrast to some of the other films. Now, just going through some of the other films. In Time, Donal Lunny.
Yeah, well, as a music nerd, first came across Donal Lunny, the Irish musician, in 1977. He played in my hometown, so that's uh, a couple of years ago. But Donal Lunny is one of the most influential Irish musicians of his era, and he transitioned between Irish traditional music back in the 70s with his first band was Planksty, and then Botti Band, and then Moving Hearts, and he then worked with kind of pretty much everybody you can name in Irish music, and he's credited with um, being a major influence in the music of Sinead O'Connor, and just somebody who a lot of I think Irish music owes a great debt to in terms of the development of Irish music from a place where there was no amplification, no electrification, to the point where the music keeps a lot of the spirit of Irish trad, but has moved it from the, technically has and technologically has moved it from an era where there was very little technical wizardry to a point where it's kind of it can easily slot in beside modern music from anywhere in the world. So yeah, that's and that's a biopic about Donal Lunny.
Okay. And a film called Fidel Gorn. Gorm.
Okay, so that's Gaelic fiddle gurum, means the blue fiddle, and this is a heartwarming Irish language drama. for the whole family about a little girl who plays fiddle, and the 10-year-old girl in the film um, actually plays all of the music. She's incredible talent, and yes, I would say it's very it's a film to bring the kids along to, and shot up in beautiful scenery in Donegal in the northwest of Ireland.
Aha, very good indeed. Now, again, a contrast, Dead Man's Money.
The Dead Man's Money is a film that was made in Northern Ireland. It's funded by Northern Ireland Screen, and although it's a drama, and there's a lot of subterfuge and dark goings on, there's also an element of comedy in it, and a, I would call it black Northern Ireland comedy. Funnily enough, the main actor, one of the main actors, sorry, is Pat Short, who is a legend of comedy in Ireland, and the other some of the other notable figures are Kathy Keira Clark and Judith Roddy, who are both known for their appearances in Derry Girls. So it's yeah, I would call it a murder mystery of Shakespearean size in set uh, in Northern Ireland.
Okay, very good. Now, Kathleen is here.
Um, Kathleen is a film with a young actor called Hazel Dope, and it's directed by Eva Berthasel, who is a very experienced Irish actor, and it's a gripping psychological thriller, and it's about a young woman who's just come out of foster care but is really struggling, and she moves into independent living, but becomes dependent on a neighbor and develops a unhealthy relationship with the neighbor's young boy, which um, provides then some of the tension in the film. But Hazel Dupe is certainly someone to watch. This is the third film that we've had. We had Float Like a Butterfly, and then we had You Are Not My Mother. And Hazel, she also recently appeared in the Disney series Say Nothing, about the Price sisters in Northern Ireland. So um, I, I, I think she's an incredible talent, and it's hard to believe that she's still kind of in her early 20s. Um, just got such a amazing volume of work behind her. So
Hmm. Okay, and I'm running out of time, but A Want in Her.
Wanting Her is another it's film from Donegal and Belfast. Very unique film. It's a documentary. It's the first feature by a young woman called Myra Carton, who's a video artist, and has um, a career as a video artist behind her. But in her kind of mid 20s, she moved back from London because her mum was in the throes of alcoholism, and homelessness. And so this is an incredibly personal film. It's in some places quite harrowing, but it's also very brave in that Myra puts herself out there and puts her family story out there, in a way that you just won't see in terms of her inspection of her mum's alcoholism and their relationship. So this, yeah, this is a film that was in Sydney Film Festival, and deservedly so. So I think we pretty much covered all of the cinema films. We've got a couple more films which are on the online.
Yep.
Which some four more films in the online festival, and then that is available for a month. It's that opens same on the same day as the cinema festival. So, but if you can't get near a cinema, you can watch these films online.
Excellent. And you've got some short films as well, which is good to see.
Yeah, I'm delighted about that. We've wanted to um, uh, promote Irish Australian filmmakers, and this is the first time that we've had actually a program of Irish Australian filmmaking. So five short films, which will play in the cinema in Sydney and Melbourne, and they'll also play online.
Okay, excellent stuff. So this is the Irish Film Festival, October 9th to November 9th, in 5 cities, as well as online. And is the best way for people to book and get more information to go to irishfilmfestival.com.au?
Exactly, Peter. Yeah. So yeah, we kick off in Sydney. We go to Sydney on the 9th, Brisbane on the 16th, um, Melbourne on the 23rd, Canberra on Halloween, and then finally, last but not least, over to the west to Perth on
Excellent.
7th of November.
Excellent stuff. Look, congratulations as always, Enda, on programming such a good film festival. We've been speaking to Enda Murray, who's the creative director of the Irish Film Festival. Enda, as always, thanks so much for talking with me.
Thanks very much, Peter. All the best.
And same to you. Bye bye.